Hi there, this exercise is your block hip dips. This is a really great exercise for building some stability around the outer hip, and this will translate into feeling more strong and stable in all of our single leg exercises, as well as having better balance and coordination in the hip. And I have found that having these muscles on the outer hip feel more strong, stable, capable has translated into kind of a reduction in back pain and even hip pain for someone like me who's a little bit more on that mobile side of things. So for this exercise, you're going to want to have a sturdy flat surface that's a couple inches high. So this could be a nice cork or wooden block. The foam blocks are fine, but they're going to be a little bit more challenging for balance. So please be aware of that if you're using a foam block. You could also use a nice thick sturdy book, or the bottom step of a stair is a great option as well. And luckily enough with stairs, you even have the railing built in. So you can just go ahead and use your railing for a little extra stability and insurance. If you are using a block or a book, please do this exercise by a wall or something stable like a countertop. I'm going to be holding onto my stall bar here. So for this exercise, I will demo it for you. I'm going to demo it without my hand on something so that you can see it from the front. I've done this exercise enough times that I do feel very confident in the balance. So that block is going to come down, and you want it to be going lengthwise so that you can step your foot onto the block here. If you're like me and you have bigger feet, you can certainly let your toes hang off the end here. The most important thing is that we don't want to be gripping onto the corner of the block with our feet. So if that's a tendency for you, you can always just grab a second block so that your toes have something to sit on as well. And then we just really want to make sure that the ball of our foot and our heel are stable and securely on. So that's the most important point to have onto the block there. I've got that block underneath my right foot here, and then I'm going to push into that right foot to come up to stand. And if you can imagine here, you want to almost kind of try to trick someone into thinking you are standing on a level surface. So both feet come to the same height. And you can even take those hands to your front hip points and feel that they are level and even front to back. And then we're going to let that kind of release or kind of lose that as we allow that right hip to dip out to the side slightly. And then think about hugging that right hip in. Notice that my leg isn't completely locked out straight. There's a softness to my knee. And I like to put a hand on my hip so that I can feel that sense of the hip kind of popping or dropping out to the side, and then feel the muscles around the hip engage as I hug in and up. When we do this together, we'll do 8 reps of this dropping and hugging. I'll shorten it for this demo. And then after those 8 reps, we're gonna hold that hug in. You should be feeling some significant effort in the standing hip by that point. Option to just hold there, or if you're feeling pretty comfortable, you can let this left leg be really loose and just kind of swing forward and back. And this swinging is starting to create some instability, which is challenging these muscles to maintain the stability of hugging in and up. If that's feeling pretty good, you can play with circles. And again, the goal here is just to kind of make this leg create this perturbation that challenges the standing hip. And we'll take about 30 seconds to explore some movement there. You can let the leg really kind of swing around. And then when you're ready, you're just going to soften the standing knee, step off of the block. You might need to give the hips a little shake out. And then when you are ready, you'll do your second side. So we'll do one side here together so we can all kind of feel it, and then repeat on your second side and follow along with the rep and set schemes in your video description. Okay, so I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see this from a different angle. And again, I've got my wall here in case I need to hold on to it. So please set yourself up next to a wall, even if you're just very lightly touching or even hovering over the wall. Just set yourself up for success and to avoid any potential falls or injuries. Once you have your setup there, we'll step our left foot onto the block this time. Push that foot down, hug the hip in and up. And again, you can take that left hand to your hip to feel those muscles start to engage underneath your hand. Soften the standing knee and then allow that hip to kind of sway out to the side. So I like to think of this kind of like when you're standing in line at the grocery store and you're not paying attention to your form and you kind of lean and sass out into one hip. That's this position. Now notice that and then see what it feels like to hug in and up. Let it fall out and then hug in and up. When you hug in and up, just kind of feel that the two hip points are level, top to bottom, and squared front to back so that right hip isn't pulling back in space. Good. Letting that hip fall out and then hugging in and up. Keep a soft bend in the knee, but it's not the knee bend that is dropping the hip down. It is the hip kind of losing that sense of hugging in. Good, pushing through the foot to hug in and up. Let's do two more there. Pressing it out, hugging it in. Pressing it out. Last one, we're gonna hold that hug in. Now from here, you might just hold and breathe. Stay tall through the crown of the head, hips are level. Or if you feel pretty stable, let that foot sway. Feel that challenge the balance. Feel that outer hip probably starting to burn. Mine is talking to me. If you want, you can try making circles with that leg. The leg that is moving is really loose. It's just like a pendulum swinging. It's not controlled or engaged. Again, we're trying to let that leg be kind of almost sloppy to force some effort into the standing leg. Switch this direction of your circles there. And go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, release. Shake out those legs. Hopefully you feel a nice kind of aliveness in the outer hips. Notice if you feel a little sense of being able to stand a little stronger, a little taller. Have fun with this one.